Hi, everyone. Carl Ford here at IoT Evolution Expo. We are talking to my friend Diana, and I'm going to say Chi O Nayu. And she is the CEO of SS7ware, and we're going to be talking about software-defined radio, software-defined networking, and more importantly, how operators can migrate seamlessly from their legacy onto the new world. So with that said, I'm going to hand the microphone over to Diana. Diana, take over.
Thank you, Carl. The very special thing about our technology is that everything is software-defined. We do not use any type of FPGAs. We do not use any type of DSPs. And that allows us to seamlessly move from one radio protocol to another or from one core network protocol to another. And that allows operators to adapt very easily to the new market requirements.
And one of the aspects of this is that it's very good for people who are like dealing with farm areas or people who are trying to deal with the fact that maybe they want to start moving most of their equipment over to LTE, that they can support their legacy legacy 2G networks with your product, right?
So we support in the same time 2.5G and LTE from the same base station. And from the same core network, we have a unified core network, so operators do not need to maintain two different core networks for 2G and 4G. And there are advantages for 2G, like, for example, providing voice and sometimes coverage when power grid is not available. And 4G LTE obviously has a lot of advantages, like bandwidth. And everyone is moving toward 4G, but there are situations where the low-power 2.5G equipments are much better fitted.
Mm-hmm. And we have some companies who are migrating from 2G to LTE, and the enterprises or the particular company that's using 2G sensors really needs support. So they can use your product, in effect, to create kind of femtocell strategies or their own base station strategies. Is that a fair statement?
Because of the regulations in every country, only companies that have access to spectrum can actually use our equipments. However, since everyone is trying to sunset 2G, that creates a tremendous opportunity for a new carrier, for tier 2 carriers, to build new networks to actually support the existing equipments. And we are hoping to be their solution for such a migration. And in the same time, that also gives them a road map toward 4G to cover much more of the area with 4G as well. And because the base station supports 2.5G and 4G, they do not need to buy 2.5G old equipments and try to maintain them with all the complicated parts and all the
missing labor and all the other elements that may disappear in the marketplace because of the fact that people just trash them. Yes.
And all software, and we also do a much better management of the 2.5G network, and we are also adding self-organizing network support for 4G, and that makes things much easier for a lot of carriers.
Right, and another key aspect of this is that your total cost of ownership is much different than other places, right? In the fact that you support people who are going to use the technology from off-the-shelf parts and labor here. So in effect, your price points are much different than, let's say, a larger known equipment manufacturer will go anonymous, but maybe merging with other large carriers.
So one of the very unusual things is that since we are doing everything software-defined and we are the first company in the world to do such, we are at the point where we are actually discovering the benefits of such a technology that we didn't think beforehand. Like, for example, we use less power than the rest of the equipments. And we do a much more easier organizing of the network. And that actually reflects in the total cost of ownership, sure. But what it also does is that it creates new possible applications that we didn't necessarily think of right now.
And based on the way you're built, you're actually much more friendlier to like low-cost deployments, like using light posts and things like that, right?
Absolutely. It's very important for us to the fact that we've made it very, very light. So it can be installed pretty much anywhere. It has a very small wind profile. And much more than that, one of the biggest problems related to carriers in US is the number of workers that are actually losing their lives. And this base station can actually be carried by a person in a much easier way because most of the equipments are actually fairly heavy. It only has about 9 pounds, and that makes it much easier to install.
So you don't have to climb up a pole or climb a place lugging a heavy object. You can basically have an easier time to installing.
Yes.
Excellent. Diana, thank you so much.
Thank you, Carl, as well, for inviting me.